Awesome. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the March 24th meeting of the School Board Facility Improvement Committee, and we will start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Raymond, greetings.
Hey, Ray.
How's it going, Ray?
Pretty good.
Alright, so I guess we'll just jump right into it. For everybody that's watching, and as a reminder, we canceled the February meeting due to the fact that everything was coming up for bond votes and voting and everything, so we just kinda pushed it back and said we're gonna cancel it, and then we pushed this meeting back until after the voting took place. So we'll move right into voting on the draft meeting minutes for January 20th, 2026. Did everyone have a chance to review them?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I have two suggestions.
Discussion.
Alright, discussion.
One under old business, halfway down, right after it says Mr. O'Connell spoke, then it says Ms. Wade expressed support for the decision to defer the project. I actually thought that was me, although many people agreed after with the sentiment. Back to yay.
Alright. So under old business, blah, Ms. Douglas raised, Mr. O'Connell for the decision to defer the project.
Fifth paragraph,
Yep.
first sentence.
Table of contents, can I enter, I wanna add a comment, I have to download Adobe. Okay,
And on, I guess the fifth page, right before B, thick appointments,
yep,
paragraph right above that, Ms. Wade confirmed accessible parking mandate, 10% of total parking. I believe that's what she said, but I think she might have misspoken, and it should be up to 10%, minimum of one, but up to 10%. Just for completeness sake.
with a minimum of one space required. Indicate
It's not
that.
absolute 10%, it's up to, depending upon the number of spots.
Okay. Were there any other comments or revisions? Hearing none, I will send this back to Jan for edits. I'll rewatch the video just to double check on everything, and then I'll send this back to Jan for edits. Alright. Going from there, good evening.
Good evening. Is the evening yet?
Close enough.
Alright,
It's after 5 o'clock.
I'll go with it. It's evening. Sent you an email.
I see that.
So we just discussed the voting minutes. There's two minor draft edits.
Okay.
So I will double check the accuracy and send it back to Jan for confirmation and edits.
Gotcha.
And moving directly into community input. Seeing nobody is here, I will close community input and move down into old business. Go with the GMS project updates.
All right. might bounce around a little bit, so ask questions as people need to. So we met with Harriman and Harvey last week. It was last week, right?
It was last week, yeah.
It was last week to kind of touch base on everything again, as we were post our own vote, and they post a bunch of votes for projects they had out there in the world and everything, so they could put some focus back on us, which was good. So we talked about timelines for the project. Our timeline is we have tentatively locked in a date of October 28th as the delivery date of the project. That is, looking at the calendar, would be the same date that we're putting the budget forward to the board and the budget committee, so we're handing all that stuff over at one time for everyone to kind of start to review. Going backwards from that date, like that date's like pending final decisions on those dates, but the idea is it's the same date that we turn over the budget and everything. Going backwards, the plan is to actually have like kind of that done at the beginning of September, so we can bring it to various subgroups to look at it for feedback, including the FIC, including kind of the group that's been meeting with them, the community, kind of the offshoot of this group that's meeting with them to get feedback on any components of it, so we can make, if needed, any changes or suggestions or adjustments from those meetings to that end of October date when we bring it forward for everyone to look. They said they had no issues with that. They actually suggested those dates, like those months. We kind of zeroed in with them on the specific dates. So they're ready to get going on all that work. We're gonna have a community forum on Tuesday, April 14th. I'm gonna send something out tomorrow, a midweek update for me, which is rare, but I have a bunch of stuff that needs to go out because of timing, including plays and information about this and some other things. So community forum on Tuesday, April 14th, be in the CHS auditorium just for the space so we can have it if we need it. And it's really just to kind of refresh everyone's mind on the project. We haven't talked about it publicly a ton since probably December, January at this point. So we want to reintroduce the options, what we're looking at, what the costs are, get ready to answer questions that people have about it. There's not necessarily going to be new information presented, it's just that kind of recap of everything that we've done so far. So we can focus our work over the next few months. We're going to follow that up with a second forum on Monday, May 18th is the date. That will be more detail oriented. Obviously we need to kind of see how the 14th on April goes first, because there might be specific things that come up in that meeting that we will tackle in that community forum on the 18th, but we would expect to start talking about the detailed pricing of various components of the project at the 18th community forum and stuff. And then we set a date for the kind of smaller group to meet with Harriman and Harvey. That is March 31st. I think we finalized that date today. Julie finalized that date with the group to kind of meet, to kind of get an update from Harriman and Harvey as well. And then we'll go from there. We didn't bring the project this voting session, obviously. We still kind of kept tabs on the bond rates, which were better this year than last year, which was good. Last year, that was like, for a 20-year bond, it was approximately 4.3%. This year, the 20-year bonds were approximately 3.43%, so that's a positive. That seems to be trending in a positive direction when it comes to that piece of it. I can't remember if I updated this here, or board, or wherever I did it. We retained our bond counsel that we had for this fall. Fortunately for us, the work that we had done carries over to the next season, so next season, I gotta call it. I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah, it's a season.
So for now, with the bond counsel, there's no additional costs associated with that. Harriman and Harvey will have some additional costs. They're getting us the pricing for that. Right now, they're pulling together suggested contracts, which we'll go over with our legal as well to continue to work with them. And I think that's a quick update. I mean, if anyone has questions, happy to answer. Yeah.
I'm sure you do, but do you really want the first forum the day before taxes are due? Do you think that'll keep anyone in?
Well, I mean, it's not ideal for that reason. But we have to fit it into our school schedules, and when the space is, spring's so busy with, theater productions and sports and everything like this. This is like,
It's better than
Date
before
that
property
works.
taxes are due.
this is a date that kind of works for booking everything. So worked for Harriman and Harvey to come down there too. So yeah.
What's the outreach plan for that one?
I just got the flyers. So I got a flyer from their PR people. I have a poster size one if we want to.
I'm out of town that week, so I can give the A-frames to somebody if they
Yeah.
wanna put them out.
If you want to drop them off at school, I can house them and then I can work on where we're going to put them between now and then.
And then reach out to like the recycling, the town hall to put it at the
Yeah,
recycling center.
I'll send the email to the town hall for the dump placement and,
Yeah.
and the letterboard here,
Yep.
Mhm.
and then you can just put it out.
Yeah.
When it's time.
Yep. And then I can figure out a couple people who can put out the bigger frames with the poster on it and stuff, so. But we did ask for 2 separate ones, we got the flyer and then the more bigger, blockier, you know.
Less content, just the
content.
date and time.
Right. On it, yeah.
Cause it's really hard to read when they make it small. Just the date and time is all you need.
So what's the plan with the flyers? Is that just go to the newspaper again?
I mean, it's a flyer that I link in my newsletter and
Okay,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
We'll
yeah.
put it on our social media and everything. I don't think we'll necessarily do a newspaper one for this particular one. One, we're up against the deadline a little bit. And we'll save some of those costs for
Yep.
when the bigger ones come.
Any chance we could get some PR to do some skits on Facebook, X, whatever it's called these days, something the younger folks are gonna pay attention to?
I think once we get, I think eventually, yeah. So well, it didn't pass, but Hollis did a really nice job with their like videos and PR and different things they did for their project, the way that it looked and the way that they were rolling out and everything like that. So we kind of kept tabs on the work they were doing, and kind of want to follow some of the steps that they took. We have some connections with the people who did the videos and stuff for them. Not to put you on the spot, Dan. But so we're hoping to do similar things to that we can push out. That's not just like a static flyer and stuff and everything. So, and then we're open to whatever feedback has that gets people's attention. So
All I feel is
hard.
that the kids are
Yeah.
not on what we advertise on.
yeah,
And one thing you could do is look at doing an ad for the community TV, right?
They're
Community.
not watching that though either.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have different demographics, right? You have the young kids who.
There's no one catch-all.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, we're
but-
putting the notice all over Facebook, so if they're on Facebook and that kind of
But
stuff.
there's
it's
a
all
lot of people
over.
in town who aren't, who actually
Right, that's what
do
I'm
watch
saying,
these
yeah.
these meetings online.
So,
Hi.
I agree with you.
So a video, a short skit or commercial that's on community TV might reach a population that you need to get to that we haven't. So it's just another method of
Yeah.
outreach. I can tell you, I'm like,
Carrie, where do you consume community TV?
we don't have it anymore.
Where do you consume it?
I don't.
You said you watch it on community TV, so.
YouTube.
No, I said you can.
Oh.
I don't say I do. So
So
like,
the problem is community TV on Comcast. is
Yeah.
really-
but your YouTube channel.
Right, so we do have YouTube, and that, we certainly would be willing to do that, but
Yeah.
the cable, right, the cable watching is way, way low.
I grew up in the day of cable watching, so that's what I think of. Sorry.
I still get cable.
I see someone
I'm
asked
with you. I still get
today
cable.
how they could watch the selectmen's meeting.
Yeah, it was Angie, and I told her, yeah, it's on the PIG channel. It's still there, we broadcast on all 3 channels every day, every meeting, but most of the audience, most of the people that watch or comment is coming from either the Facebook Live meeting that runs or the YouTube post.
Well, sounds like so when I yeah.
YouTube all the time, yeah.
When I grew up, the community TV was very popular because kids in high school had shows on it. So it was one of those. Maybe we need to revitalize it. Just saying.
So I know that Andrew has been doing a lot of outreach to the 55 plus communities. Do we have contacts with them of where we could send them?
I mean, we've been working on that. So we did some we did some in February and March where we visited communities, and that was positive. We got tough questions, so it was you know, I mean, everyone was super nice, don't get me wrong, but they were critical
It's-
questions, and it was good.
I mean, regardless, it's going to be. You know, people have to pound the pavement. If you look at what
Yeah.
happened with the fire station, it passed by one vote.
Yeah. And
One vote.
and
Not even the fire station. The latest expansion of fire, like the fire department, this past vote passed with one vote.
Yep.
So it's going to be tight. So
Yeah.
people have to be out there
So
making
So I
themselves
think we
heard.
made some inroads on that through this, and like kind of figured out a model that works for that.
Okay.
Now, we got into 3 of the, I believe there's 9 communities, right, in Litchfield?
I believe
7,
so.
9.
I don't know, some of them are a little more intense than others.
And so hopefully we can build upon that and get in more and more and do
We
this
went
kind of
to
head time.
4, I think.
4?
4.
Yeah.
I could tell you which one I wouldn't go to because my Cub Scouts got yelled at, so I'm sorry. I won't name them here.
Yeah, because I was wondering if either we just send a flyer or do we try to set up another community, like mini forum with them
Would it-
specifically
I
on
think
the
that's what
project.
we'll do eventually, right?
Yeah.
How
It's
has the
like-
table talk thing been received? I just hate to send out flyers that people, yep, throw it, yep, they want more money from me, put it in the bin, and then have 10 people show up.
So Table Talk has actually gotten a lot of rewatches, especially when the senior event happened, there was a lot of.
So
broad there.
maybe try access that.
That's
Ta-
what-
What's the table talk?
So we come up with this idea of just having these short vignettes, and the idea was Diane, who was the mother girl, that's not very well known. We came together, she's hosting it, and she just has these little 30-minute conversations about certain topics.
Yeah.
We did through the election cycle, on explaining the budget, the assessments and all that, that was well given. We had, another one was the school, which was the senior event that happened a couple weeks back, that got a lot of praise
So I'm saying,
too,
just
so.
trying to expand
And we're looking
opportunities.
for more topics, so if you heard the board meeting last night, she's looking for more topics to bring up.
This is a
We'd
good
like
one.
to see it run weekly if we can, it's a lot of work, but
Yeah,
we'd like to see at least weekly, if not at least once or every other week. something like
so
that.
maybe that's something that, no offense to put more on you, but that you get out there like, every couple months or something to the
Yeah.
community. And when you're, just because I know you've been trying the outreach, but at the same time, a lot of us aren't connected to the school and we don't find out much.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on. Oh, look at that, there's a flyer for something, yay. But,
We're trying to build up, we've had a little success with building up a mailing list at the school
Mhm.
district. We did a little push of it, obviously, right for the budget, and then we'll probably do another renewed push here in the spring.
but do I have to be on the school mailing list to get on the mailing list? Like, how would I
No,
access that? How would I, it was, how
Well, we
would
were doing it through social media, through our
Okay.
website and stuff like that, and we got, a number of community people sign up.
Okay,
They get, right now it's exclusive to what I send out, just so we don't overload people,
Right.
but it's something, it's my message that goes out on Sundays. That links to a lot of the school messages and everything else. So we're looking to expand that. And to learn from the senior event that we had, like, our turnout for the senior event, the student council had a
Mhm.
event for 55 plus, was like so much more than what we thought it was gonna have. Maybe that's what it is, the table talk, because we had a lot of people and that was a really successful event. And however the outreach on that, I mean, we did it a variety of ways.
yep.
I think it helped that
Handing out flyers after
they were
the
handing out flyers at voting, which I think helped with that. But not everyone heard it through that. Like, we brought them to the 55 plus communities when we visited and talked about it there. And they tried some different ways to reach out in the community, and obviously it was a success. A lot of people went, so it was good.
And there was another event directly opposite at the church, we had about 50 people there that
Yeah.
would have been likely candidates for that.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, we're gonna keep trying to push the word out, and then probably hit hard. Like, we'll do some in the spring to provide updates. Summer, people are all over the place. We'll provide stuff, but we know that's not the big push. And then once the school year starts next year, really push again on everything. So, when it comes to the PR and informing people about it.
At one point, we talked about doing another survey, specifically around the cost. Is that, I don't know if we have enough information on that yet.
I don't think you know enough yet, right? Like,
Yeah.
you have to get in and sit with Harriman and figure out, like, what are the packages, right? Like, here's the all-in, if you wanna do everything all at once.
Right.
Here's the two-phase approach, here's this
Yep.
piece of it, right? Like, we have to know that before we can put out questions around that.
So our
Okay.
request is to break down the project, every detail of every cost.
Yeah.
So like, obviously the costs we saw
What's the
back in
all-in
December were, and they were also like really, really big picture costs, right?
Right.
So what we've asked for them to deliver, I mean, I don't think we'll have it by May, don't get me wrong, cause it's an incredible ask, but like, as we work through it, is to drill down on the cost of literally everything as we kinda go through, right? So we can make those educated
Have that kind of a la
decisions.
carte menu, I mean, like, we can do this, and this.
Or understand it,
Yeah.
right? Like, this is the thing that costs us X amount of money, right? Like, because if, the project's, $30 million, just using round numbers, right? And we know the loop around is 5 million of that, right? Like, we can pull that out and have a conversation about that piece and its
Right.
value of it, right?
Yep.
If the entrance has how they presented to us back in that design process, that entrance costs, again, I'm making up numbers, $100,000, it may not be worth getting into the weeds on that. An entrance is an entrance, that's $100,000, it's not gonna move us. But if that entrance, which was a little bit on a slant, and I'm sure is designed a little bit to look elegant and stuff like that, is $2 million, there might be a conversation there, be like, we don't need a $2 million entrance, can you drill this piece down to, you know, X amount of dollars that we can
Make it a
income, or what does it look like for, you know, a door?
I think one of the important things they give us during that, at the same time of that, is what is contingent upon something else.
Exactly, the
Yep.
domino of it all.
This piece
Right.
costs this much, but you can't do this without doing these other three
Right,
things.
seeing those pieces, yeah.
Go ahead.
I think the overall cost is what it's going to be. How many little slices you put on the ballot is a separate issue.
Well, I don't think we wanna put slices, I think we wanna put a project on the ballot, right? Like, this is the project. And like, not like you're gonna do warrant article 1 is this, warrant article 2 is this, warrant article 3 is this. I don't think there's
Yeah.
value in that, I think
All
it's the
those
project.
Legos are the project.
Yeah.
All those pieces.
Yeah.
But you can change what those Legos look like
Yes.
based off knowing what
Beforehand.
they are, right? Like,
Yeah.
like you said, that $2 million entrance, do we need it to be that? Can we change it so that it's a $500,000
All right,
entrance?
so,
I'm gonna
And that's why I think, like, I don't know the value of surveying about price.
Yep.
Only because it's gonna be a big number, just how big the it's gonna be a big number.
It's all
really.
bigger than what we want it to be.
Yeah, but at the end of all of it, you're not talking price, you're talking about cost, and what's it's gonna cost me. And we don't know that because we don't know also with budget offsets, you know, all these things that are gonna
Yep.
go into. So there's price, and for some people, 20 is fine. For some people, 20 is too much. For the people that 20 is too much, any number with that many commas and zeros is too much. So I don't know this early on asking about
Right.
cost gets
So-
us any value benefit.
so,
I think we also spent a lot of time, energy, and some amount of money to get a survey out, and the results of which I'm not sure we used to its full potential. And I think they were talked about briefly, and then the results were not actively thought of again. And I'm not sure it's worth the time and energy of anyone to sit at, well, for 2 days to get information we're going to discard.
I look at the surveys, like getting people out to vote. I mean, nobody takes the surveys. You get a very small data set back. It's really not indicative of what the overall population's really thinking. Just like we had 1,500 people turn out to vote the other day, you know, which is totally apathetic, and to consider we have 7,000 voters.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
Yeah.
I put the survey right in that classification. It's a lot of work and not much bang for the buck.
okay, yep, I have it down there as we don't know enough yet. So, and then I'll challenge on we have the price of what it will take to complete the project, but the cost of it is going to be important and it will change depending on what we do. Because you have the increase, really the cost of it is the cost to me, we could calculate if we know the total budget, right? And then anything else that we do afterwards, when we get the bond, right, then becomes, well, we can start knocking this down with end of year encumbrances or budget surplus or anything like that.
Yeah. No, I'm saying if we put a survey out there and say, do you like this number?
Yeah.
I don't think the voters have enough, or the survey takers have enough information to know whether or
Yeah.
not they like that number. Because what they like that number finally to be is, this impacts me at a 2 per mil, you know,
Right.
like.
And I think
Yep.
that's why what we're gonna do is deliver the both at the same time, right? So you can see the true impact. This is the advantage of not doing it this past March, is now we have more time, which allows us to really work with the two things together, the proposed operating budget, the proposed project, to put a final dollar, because you're right, there might be things we look to offset because of the project, like this, we won't need to do this thing because the project is on the ballot.
Savings about keeping the current
As
building
we
are
look-
factored into total cost.
Yeah,
of
as we
the-
look, we all
Yeah.
know, staffing changes, things change, all this stuff changes when we go through the budget process from year to year. The revenue we gain from the state, right? You guys gonna offer us $10 million more, it's gonna change this conversation. I'm kidding, but, you know, like, all those different components of it to say this is the true cost of the project that we're
Yeah.
proposing.
And even outside, you know, the old saying, sell the sizzle, not the steak. I mean, the project, the most important deliverable that we have coming up here is delivering a project that meets all the community's needs, fixes the problems educationally, and as far as the building and traffic down at that site.
Mhm.
That's gonna be the thing that you sell. It is what it costs, and that's it, but we need to, get the safety aspect done. You know, the fact that that building has cost us a fortune in energy. Yeah, I think in the long run, if we focus on the deliverable of what that building's gonna be, you know, the price isn't gonna matter as much, as long as it's the right solution, and we're not gonna go back in for another bite of the apple in 2 years.
This may not be the right time to bring it up, and I totally appreciate everything Harriman has done. I think they've done a fabulous job. But we had 3 or 4 different architect firms bid on the project, all saying they could come in less than, in the teens, less than 20 million. I think we need to talk about that and be honest with the people we're talking to in the public. What happened with that number? Because the 20,
I don't think anyone
30 million is a real
promised.
number.
Yeah, I don't think any of the people we interviewed for the process, and
We're hopeful.
I think Harriman was hopeful too, right? Like, I think everyone was hopeful for a number in the teens, and it didn't. You know, like, I look at that Hollis project, which I kind of studied, which is a different project, but looking at it, I think that project was at 19 million, what they proposed, and it was the second phase of a project, right? They had already spent,
And their building was far newer.
yeah, and they spent a considerable amount of money doing a bunch of the, like, insulation and kind of inside stuff first, right? This proposal was attacking more of their space and some other needs that they had attached to it. And so that second project came in at that 19 million number, which tells me that it's gonna be a lot more than any of us had hoped for. You know, I think once people got inside and saw what work they had to do and exposed to everything in that building, that's what the numbers kind of go up for. I would caution undoing a bunch of the work that we've done with Harriman. We've been pretty straightforward with them, like, this does not need to be the Oyster River Middle School, which was an $80 million beautiful,
Right.
like, thing, over the top project. We need a functional, safe building for our kids that is gonna be good for the next 30, 40 years, right? Like, that's the goal with this project, so.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I think going back to any of the other architects, like, even if they said they could, like, the minute they get in there, they're gonna find the same stuff that Harriman did and go, oh, crap.
I just question where the issue was, where the numbers were so far off and everyone was hopeful.
Speculative versus actual. I mean, they're bidding at a speculative level.
Right. They had done a brief walkthrough of it to come up with their, like, proposal and their just pitch to us to hire them.
Right.
They didn't get into the nuts and bolts of it and start dissecting it like we asked them to do, and then figuring out, oh man, there's a lot more to this than meets the eye.
And I'm not proposing we go with anyone else. They're doing a great
Yeah.
job.
Yep.
And some companies will come in low and hope for change orders until they're purple.
Well, and then I'll also say, if I throw the finance side at this, right, is it's to get somebody else to do it is another contract, is another thing we gotta go spend money on out of the approved budget that we have to date, so I don't see that going very far with the school board.
I do think one thing to remember is Harvey is our construction manager, right? Like, Harvey's not working for Harriman, Harvey's working for us. Like,
Right.
their job is to make sure the cost is appropriate for us. Like, obviously, they're partners, we all, 3 entities wanna work together and make sure that this project is a success. But like, Harvey is the one looking out for us in terms of cost. So if they've signed off on a quote or a price, now, there might be design elements, and this is why we need to drill down, I think, at the bigger list, right? Like, Harriman's design work is really nice, right? Like, so, this is, like, I look at not to focus on the entrance, but it's just like.
Which is a good example.
It's a good example, because it, like, rendered and some of the pictures they showed, it looks really nice, you know, like, and is that a space where there was a little more money spent and that we could look at maybe not, you know, maybe it's minimal extra cost for the design that they put, or there's a reason for why it is the way that it is, you know.
And that kind of stuff is exactly what we ran out of time to
Yeah.
do
Yep.
this past year, right? Like we ran out of time to do that level of detail, looking at things and saying, all right, you designed it this way, it cost this much, let's change the design to bring down that cost.
Yeah.
Past all the glitz and glamour, Harvey is one of the best construction companies out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hands,
100%.
hands down, they deliver great work.
Well, and I think having Harvey on contract with the district is the reason why we pushed to get a pre-construction manager to validate the cost.
Yeah.
Alright, any other saved rounds on the GMS project? Nope. So, I'm looking forward to the meeting on the 31st. I gotta make sure my calendar is clear for the 14th as well. And, we'll go from there. So the next FIC meeting is April 9th, so it's in between the two.
We'll have the 31st meeting though, so.
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
out of that.
yep. Alright. I'll say we'll go into new business. So, I will go for, one of the things that was discussed at the school board was the, 2026 citizen representative. Community members on the FIC need to either be renominated or we need to nominate new ones. So I think according to our governance, the school board is supposed to vote on the first meeting of April. Because I don't have, essentially we have 3 vacant spots, I don't see them being filled by the people that was there. I know one of them can't be. So then the other 2 just haven't joined, so I think we need to get out with the school board. Ray, just, hey, we're looking for community members to fill these spots. And go from there, and we may push back on the voting date.
I was gonna say, if you may want to push back for that nomination at the second board meeting in April.
Yep.
Now that we're like playing this out, like I know we wrote these back in the fall and like the timing of this stuff. We did a bunch of work in our last meeting of appointing the board people to their committees and
Yeah.
still a little more work on that. So maybe it was a little ambitious to get this committee done in that first meeting in April. But this allows a couple weeks of, you know, obviously I hit school people, but we'll put it on all of our social media websites, so on and
Right.
so forth, looking for interest from people. And we can promote this a little bit more and give people time to sign up. Maybe a deadline of interest by,
So I was,
So we know that
Well-
3 people in those positions now are coming back.
well, it was Jason LaMountain, Joe Jositis, and Ray filled one of the spots. But Ray is now school board
Right, so that
and
one's
no,
definitely open.
yeah, so that one's open. Jason hasn't been to a meeting yet this year.
Okay.
And Joe has been hit or miss and falls out of the voting requirements.
do you want, or maybe someone can reach out to them? And if you could
I
let me
can-
know by like really Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But like Friday, then when I send my Sunday message, I can highlight this in there. That gives us 2 Sunday
Yep.
messages of this out.
So I was also gonna recommend that we do the nominations on the first board meeting of May.
I'll do that if you want.
Just because, to your point, right, we're just getting settled with our committees. And then we have to get the information out there and give them time to respond. So we can give, you know, nominations are due by, call it, April 20th. And then we can decide on, and then that gives the school board 2 meetings to review the nominations and then elect the nominations,
If you're doing, when do you want to elect them?
May 6th.
You want 2 meetings?
Well, if we get the nomination responses by April 20th, that would give us, that would not give us that.
Right.
Okay. So I still say if we hold the nominations on April sixth, we can ask, all things be in by like the 13th.
I mean, we put the agenda out for the board meeting publicly on the 13th, we gotta do it on that day. Now, you don't have to put the nominations, you could just say it's an agenda item.
Well, I was just gonna say nominations, like, community requests are due by then.
That's what I mean. Like, so it can be a discussion, it can be an agenda item for the board on the 15th.
Right.
Say you don't have enough currently, you're extending it to the 13th, or whatever. So the request will be due the April 13th. I'm just saying, because we have a budget committee meeting this Thursday, so if we like highlight it, I'll make sure you include the correct date.
Yeah.
Yep.
April 13th. Nominations early May. So submissions due April 13th, I'm not gonna commit you to a particular date. Selections will be made early May, from my perspective.
Correct.
I don't care what you guys do, but.
Thanks.
But I do, but for relative to this, I don't care. There's a lot of other things I care about, but
So, yeah, so I think we should change the governance documents that nominations are due the Monday before the second meeting in April to the school board. And then nominations by the school board need to be complete by the first meeting in May. Just so then that way we can start staggering.
it gives people time to make their schedules make themselves available if you want to interview or anything. And how many, and you're looking for 3, right?
Correct.
Should we tighten up the requirement to actually show up for meetings? Ties our hands when we don't have a quorum.
I mean, I think that's what we're trying to do with this, bringing the people to the board, right? Like, we redid, I agree with you 100%, and like, I think that's why we tried to do the document here that put real rules in for like attending, and like, we can share the governance document with anyone who
Yeah.
applies or puts in their name for,
We've gone from every other, twice a month to monthly meetings though, so if you miss 2 to 3.
I think we had the rules in there, we just didn't act on them,
we just gotta do it.
right? Like, we gotta have to actually act on them moving forward. If someone's missing too much, then we need to act on it and remove them and put out for a replacement.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a couple lines in here that would need to be edited. So during a term, removal during a term.
Are you doing it right now?
I was not gonna make edits right now.
Oh, no, that's 25, wow, okay.
Well, it's the last time that we made the
Is
changes.
that long ago?
Yeah,
Fair enough,
it's one that were voted on.
alright. Do you want me to make the changes? I think that's my document,
Yeah, I
my
think so.
Google Doc, I can make the changes and then maybe next meeting, when you say what's the next meeting?
April 9th.
People can vote on it here.
That works? And then we can bring it in front of the school board on the 15th?
Yeah.
That works for me. Alright, put that out there. I will reach out. To Jason and Joe Decidus to see if they are still interested. Looking for where all of like the keyboard are, cause I have 3 different computers and all of the keyboard layouts are different. Alright, so, moving into the last item on the agenda, which is review end of the year encumbrances. So, I did attach what was presented at the last school board meeting as draft, and I put this in very loose terms. Draft.
Very loose, it's like ideas.
Right.
It's like a draft.
Draft ideas of if there is budget available, what we would spend it on. I also attached and downloaded the latest CIP plan for the district from the website. And the intent that I have with this is we need to start bouncing it off all of those ideas, ensuring 1, A, they're covered, 2, are they covered in what was approved this year in the maintenance budget in the district that was included in the operating budget. So I just wanted to start, we can start enacting on that plan and that help for Brian. It's all loose, it's all draft now, but that would be the next steps beyond GMS.
Yeah, so the end of the year spreadsheet in there is our document that we have for ourselves, where we're just listing ideas for possible things to look at the end of the year. The big example of this is the LMS parking lot. If it was to, well, it's in rough shape, and we're looking at, we have one quote for it. The quote, we're going back for a second quote because we want additional information about stuff underneath, the drainage underneath and stuff like that. So we're working on that. These are just ideas. None of this is a commitment that we're doing any of this stuff. None of it is even, may not even make it to the board for a vote. We might take it off. This is just us administratively putting out to our people, being like ideas on stuff. You'll see like the additional repeater stuff in there, and camera stuff. This was stuff that we applied for in a safety grant that went to the state that we did not get in this cycle, which is fine because we had gone in the previous
Oh,
cycle.
there should be fewer cell phones using them in schools now, so.
This is for the walkie-talkies and stuff.
Oh,
like that.
okay.
Better connection for that. There actually is a lot less cell phones. It's amazing how well that's working.
And kids are talking to each other, it's crazy.
It's crazy. It's good and bad. And
Good.
so we added that type of stuff. The CIP plan, things that we had designated as possibly being things we look at for end of the year, so we can remind ourselves to get quotes for these things, not just what was listed in the CIP as a rough estimate, but, and then determine if that's things that we want to.
There's like no Red Cross grants for AEDs?
There is, and like this, again, these are just
Alright.
ideas, we're throwing
Okay.
everything down. This might not be stuff we end up
Okay.
like doing, it's just like, what are things that we have.
I'm just saying, I'm not
budgeted
opposed
for?
to it, I'm just like,
Yeah.
grants first, like, taxpayer last.
And so we just put all the thoughts down so we can just think and start doing a plan. So we, April 1st is kind of, I won't say a freeze, but it's kind of the date where we tell everyone you can't spend money anymore unless it's for a very, very specific purpose. The purpose I always use is graduation. Obviously, we're gonna have still expenses related to graduation. So like that will get spent in June, but like we shouldn't be buying textbooks in April because we shouldn't be buying textbooks in April. So like those type of examples. And that allows us to encumber some of our money so we can start projecting out what we're looking at the end of the year for funds and stuff. Any and all suggestions are welcomed. And you don't have to say it right now, you can shoot me an email, that's fine. We can put some stuff on the list, or you can tell me right now too, it's all good.
I'll tell you one of my favorites.
Yeah,
One is the AEDs.
yeah.
Two is actually the CHS auditorium stuff, speakers,
Yeah.
music. They've been talking about that for a couple of years.
That's what I've heard, is that they've talked about it for a number of years. I mean, that's something why we wanna generate these ideas, put them in one spot. And even if we don't, again, this is in very early stages, even if we don't do that this year because of one reason or another, maybe because, you know, we don't actually have the funds because we're just tighter as it is, or we need a little more time, or we wanna develop a plan, this is a good way to get it down and figure out what is the plan to address some of these things. The pricing here for those, we need to get real quotes. I anticipate them being higher than what is listed right there for some
Why are
of
you
those.
replacing them?
I don't know, and that's the information we
Like the
need to kind of
AEDs?
dig down.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
age out.
we have them down the churches.
Oh, the
Yeah,
AEDs?
We replace the batteries and the pads.
They actually
every couple of
expire,
years.
they actually do
Oh,
expire,
yeah, it does.
like
Yeah.
after some point. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're not,
Planned obsolescence.
Well, I mean, it's
Oh,
stuff.
that makes sense to me if you would've just said that.
yeah, we're not there yet, but like,
You
you
don't
know,
want them not to work.
I believe it,
But you're right.
they'll still work, but you're not, like, the insurance is different, like, they have to, whatever, long
Yes.
story short.
Yeah, we
I think the expiration date for them is 27, so it might be if we have the ability to do it ahead of time, then we do it, ahead of time, so we're not up against it potentially.
Are they all due in 27?
I do not believe they all are.
Okay.
But I have to double check, I don't have that information, the nurses keep track of that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
I was just unaware of the expiration date. I know like you get 10 years on a smoke detector and
Yeah.
then it,
I forget the
Frozen.
one, 10 years is what jumps out of my head, but
yeah.
do not
so-
quote me on that.
I won't.
But I know there's an expiration date for the ones we have to have in our spaces, so.
I mean, it's, at my work, right, not only do they expire, but they're supposed to be tested once a month, right? They all have a test function, and it's meant to actually send off the high transformer, the high-powered transformer, to make sure that that's working. And typically, those have a finite lifetime for pulses and capacitors and stuff, so that's why they tend to expire.
Are they in the budget, or is this, like, are we, like, I would hope that they're in the budget at some point, like,
That's
as
what I
in-
mean, so like, this is like a good conversation, actually, like, we can use these as an example for this group.
It's one thing if you're paying it forward versus, we don't have it in the budget and we're hoping and praying money's available. Those are two different things.
Right, well, we're not in that, but like, I'm doing this from memory.
Right.
I didn't realize AEDs are gonna come up. So,
No, but I mean,
but
it's something
my-
that, it's important and it is something that we should have on our replacement cycle.
My memory serves me that it expires at the end of 27, right, like the end of the calendar year in 27. So like, that would give us time to put it in next year's budget to replace these. But I think the thinking is, we're going in, like, 27's a full year.
Right.
If we had money available at the end of this year for that, and we decided that was that's the decision we wanted to go, obviously that's not an item we put in the budget next year, right, so.
And I believe they were initially installed through a grant, so this is the first time it would ever even come up into the budget.
Well, I'm not opposed to looking for new grant, you guys going for grants anyway, but I just wanna make sure that, you know,
Yeah.
we're not hoping, like, we hope that there's money available, like, no, this is something that should be planned.
No, yeah, and it is, but I think it's one of those, we're trying to look ahead, so we can, if we can
No,
put
I-
it in the
yeah.
budget, then we can.
Do you have any installed outside the building, like
AEDs, I don't think they're
for activities?
we have a map somewhere, I don't know if I have it right on my computer. We have
You
lots of
always
maps,
want
but.
one.
Outside?
I know.
By the fields.
Yeah, some kid will
There's
come
one
around.
in the
and
trainer, I mean, the
Oh,
trainer
yeah,
carries
trainers,
one with them,
yeah, right.
right, so
They
like,
usually
when
have
we
them
have
on.
our own outside activities, like the trainer is around and has one on them.
That's all you need is
I don't know
a
if
middle
they're
school
outside,
kid
though.
finding out that there's one available.
Yours isn't, right?
No, I'm
Yeah,
not sure
they
they
come
can
take it.
maintain outside a four-season New England.
I think they do expire at a different rate than the ones inside.
Do you,
So
do we have any concept of how much we're thinking is gonna be available?
Well, there's a
That's
whole-
what we're gonna do, so like
Yeah.
April 1st, we like freeze it, right? Then we start encumbering all the stuff, like, so,
So we don't know yet.
we don't know yet. I
Okay.
mean,
And what is the
God
order? Is
freaking
it
pray it's not what we had last year. for
warrants
God's sakes,
first?
but Warrants first,
Verse, and then
then
encumbrance.
it's this.
So you need to have quite a bit of money available based on the way the warrants went.
Correct, so I think there's like 375 attached to the warrants. Don't quote me on that either.
No, I hear you. So like realistically, if there's much money available, we're gonna have a different talk.
And I think, well, yeah, and I think
Why is
that-
there so much money available?
But also, like, what's the conversation, what is the, like, what do we wanna do, like, let's say in the hypothetical, you take care of warrants, and we're sitting, cause the parking lot, we're expecting to be 400,000, let's pretend that we're sitting on 450,
Yeah.
right? Like, you're only gonna do that parking lot if you can do all of it, right, like, that's the choice.
So
But
the
then
last time we did parking lot-
Conversation then, is you're only returning 50 at that point, so is
Which-
it worth it,
Which
right?
totally messes up a whole bunch of, but the last time we did a
Correct.
parking lot, which was, I think, GMS in the back, it was a warrant article and it did do well.
Yeah.
So I mean, that way, that's an option too.
Yeah, and then looking at those pieces, like and maybe if, like using that as an example, we're at the 450, Alamos parking lot is 4, we don't want to spend 4 of that 450 on that project.
Yeah.
Maybe instead we're looking at littler projects and crossing a lot of things.
I think that's what you should do, cause last time we did a really big project, I think it was the track. And the storm that caused was not one that you would,
Yeah. You don't want those optics again.
Yeah, the other thing, not to,
we spent $280,000 or something on replacing the track, and it did not go over well.
that's it,
Well, this was many years ago.
okay.
But that was the last, let's just say,
that's
that
how
was the
cheap.
last time we had a really big
Actually-
project
Yeah.
spent out of encumbrances, because it wasn't done again, for a reason.
I mean, the idea were like internally, like not to, like, well, whatever, we talk about it all the time, people have heard me talk about it, is a district van. That's like the thing we're like hyper focused on, because it's something that could produce savings for us in our transportation budget.
Absolutely.
Like, we have athletic teams, like if we get a 12-person drip van, 12 is the number to do, not 15, because 12 you don't need the special license to drive, so like 12 would be the safe.
But you can get those through like grants for outreach.
You can, obviously, yes, if we can get it through a grant, that's how we do it. But like, if we had a van, then any teams, such as golf, is a
Yep.
good example of
The
this,
smaller
cross
groups.
country could be another, we can just transport them via the van and not the bus, and we have savings on top of that. And then, I mean, playing it out a couple of years, if we had like 2 vans, now we can do most of our athletic teams on 2 vans, right? And not use those bus
So
expenses.
where we
for
gonna
all
put the
that.
bus garage? I can feel it coming.
No bus garage, you just need a van, and you can park it in a normal parking spot, you don't need anything special for it, so. I would never, I won't say never say never. I like working with First, and I think it works for this district to outsource our busing right now. That could change in the future, but like, it seems to be a successful thing comparative to, you know, in Bow where we had our own buses and some of the issues that came along with that and expenses that came along with that.
So I guess, from your perspective, is there anything that you would like us?
Well, I think suggestions, I think this is our first time trying to apply this capital improvement plan and
Right.
multiple facets, right? Like in the budget process, like if you go to the capital improvement plan there, anything in the 27 column that is associated with the budget is in our budget next year for that cost, right? Unless we got an updated quote, which we did for a couple small things, but like, that's in the budget. We designated it in the budget as a cost associated and attached it to the CIP. We labeled it that way in our budget documents, so we can show that this is what we're trying to do. It's kind of weird, the bridge, because the budget stuff's in 27, because that's the fiscal year for it, or the end of the year stuff's in 26. But I think this is like a good example, if you just pause right there. I'm gonna use administrative flooring in the high school. That probably needs to be redone, right? Like sooner than later, but also not, because it's not like we can't function with the flooring that we have right now. So we are gonna get a quote for it, because that's where we have it in the CIP. We're gonna bring it to the board in June to have a discussion about it. And then we're gonna make a decision whether or not to do it, right? If the board elects to do it, you know, one of the reasons why they might elect to do it is because it's on the CIP plan and we're trying to follow the plan. The board may say that either one, we don't have the funds, or it's just not a priority right now. Then we need to come back to this plan and move it, right? Like, so where do we wanna now move this forward? Like, and that's part of that discussion to try and keep this document accurate so we can plan ahead. If I look at the administrative flooring in the high school, I mean, not to pick on this particular one, there's a lot of things I would support over this, cause it's in that rough a shape, right? So I could see us not moving this forward right now with end of the year funds, us having a conversation and maybe pushing it back, you know, maybe 4 years, maybe it's 1 year, whatever the case may be, and then shifting this plan accordingly, so. But this is facilitating the conversation, which I
Right.
think is important, right? Like to have that type of idea. It was very helpful in the budget process. I mean, Harry, I think you saw through budget committee, we could point to that stuff, you know? I think you guys appreciated it when we brought it, you know?
I appreciate the effort. I didn't like the numbers, but I'm not gonna lie.
So the stuff that has a number in the 26 column with the end of year
Yeah.
on it are stuff that we're potentially looking to do if there are end of year funds available.
Correct.
Which would it make
And we
me?
basically need to decide which are the priorities and basically put them in order.
Potentially, yeah, and then moving it with other priorities that have emerged.
I guess
So
I'd
like
question why the flooring in there would be over a priority of the auditorium chairlift.
Because we just took, great question. So we just took the on-site insight report and did it as is,
Okay.
right? So that was identified in that on-site insight
But that's
report
gonna
as a
be taken
year.
care of until 2028.
But that was a year one thing,
But
right?
is it replacing or installing a new one?
What the
The chair,
Chairlift?
the chairlift. Because
Oh,
I
I
don't
would have to go
remember
back
being,
and
I
look
don't
at
remember there being one.
There is one.
So,
There is one.
There is one?
Over to the
It's
left.
on the, yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
It's tough
Oh,
to
I
watch.
was
It's been
thinking
there for a
like-
while, so.
I don't know that,
It needs to be
I don't think
replaced.
I've ever seen it used.
I don't know, it has been used in the
so how do we
few
have it
years I've been there.
inspected before we have it replaced?
Right, but I think like we put that there, it
Well,
probably, I'm
Visual,
guessing.
does it work?
has, what is it, 28
does
right
work.
there, has a lifespan of
Yeah.
30 years or
And
something,
that's
so
why
that's
there's-
why it's showing up in 28, right, as the time.
So I would encourage a little more look at that, because if it actually works, then I would probably take it off.
Well, I think that's what he's
That's
talking
what I
about,
mean,
right? He's talking
right?
about the same thing with like the flooring, right? Like if we look at it and say, does this really need to be done right now? I know it got recommended by the plan,
You could have it
but it
Right.
may or may not actually need to happen.
Right, and then you adjust it accordingly, right?
And I will also say, this is not in terms of priority listing. This
not
is
priority.
just,
This
this
is
Where
is
they
just-
placed them.
Where they placed it.
Yeah,
I think it's alphabetical.
Yeah.
And those will be good, great
This
conversations.
is right now,
with
the
board.
sort on it is out.
Well, yeah, and I'm just
Yeah.
thinking, so step one is, tabulating it. Step two, I guess, is going through and prioritizing it.
Right.
'Cause, yeah,
Can
I'm
this
like-
be bumped out 2 or 3 years? Does it have to be?
Is it
now?
even needed?
Right.
Like, really?
Well, there's something like, one of the things in here, I don't remember what year it was, but was to paint the administrative suite,
yep.
like the SAU suite, right? Which we did last year, actually. So like there's a different color on that box, I don't remember exactly where it is, that we blocked off, made a note that says this was completed in summer of '24, whenever we did the painting. So we know that thing's crossed off the list and we don't have to go back to it. There's other things that we are gonna fix as things go along. One of the, this isn't a perfect example, but I'm gonna,
Oh, is this the
But
two
work
different
with me on
colors
it.
thing?
what's
It's
that?
like a tilting kettle. Is there not a tilting kettle there now? Or is it a replacement of the tilting kettle? I'm just looking on 24,
Oh, I
What
don't
is
know.
the tilting
I have no idea.
tilting kettle.
Kettle
something.
that tilts.
Oh, I know what it
I have
is.
no
Some sort
idea
of-
what
But
it
is there not, are we adding one, or are we?
No,
fixing
this is
one?
all stuff we have, if it's
Yeah,
on
if
If
this,
it's on
the
this list
list,
from onsite
we
insight,
have-
they
it
saw
exists.
it and said,
this is when it is.
But what's the year on
they
that?
didn't make
Like,
any,
scroll over.
Right.
it. What
they
year
didn't make
does
any
that
claims in
happen?
onsite insight that said you need to add this, it was just.
Yeah, that doesn't happen until 2030.
Oh, 2030, okay. I just see a tilting kettle, I'm like, those things last forever.
Yeah,
Right. There's
so
so
you gotta
many things
see
that
the whole
we-
picture, because just because there's a blank doesn't mean it is missing from this year. It's way out on the timeline somewhere.
There are gonna be things that we have to fix sooner though, right? Like,
The septic pumps or something, is that down there? Yeah.
they're probably somewhere on there. Everything is, well, in theory,
I
everything
see
is
it
on there.
lower.
I saw,
But
yeah.
like, one of the athletic doors at the high school is broken, right? Like, don't know how it damaged, whatever happened, don't worry about it, well, worry about it, but just like.
Is there a camera there? We can
No
figure out.
camera caught what happens,
Oh.
and we're not sure the time frame, whatever. So we need to fix that door. Now, on here is athletic doors down the road, right? So if we get that door fixed,
It comes off.
then that's gonna come off the list, or we're gonna remove it
Right.
further down the list, cause the lifespan of that door, say is 20 years, go 20
Bump it
down,
out.
move down. Right.
yeah.
Question. Did we ever get the safety egress doors in Genius and stuff?
We're still working. We're still
There's a
working on
lead
it.
time on those suckers.
Yeah. We have the quote, we've been working with the guy, and we do not have them yet.
He's a nice guy, but
A little slow.
Doors are hard.
he's a nice guy.
They're hard.
They have
There
long
was-
lead time for the stuff.
I won't say that complications is not the right word, but getting the right thing for those doors took a few visits and
Yeah.
like
And they're all
everything,
custom, you know.
through it and stuff.
Yes, and they're always in business. Like, yes, it's like going to like some major. So I have an opening in 6 months on Tuesday at 10. You're like,
Well,
I don't
also
know.
too, if you think about it too, you have a more modern building like CHS and the door frames are mostly standardish. GMS, it's 9 different door frames with 9 different measurements on each, not only the frame itself, but the 2 doors that create units, so.
Yeah.
It's
And
9
commercial
different,
doors are tough.
yeah, it's 9 different, however, we're buying 7 or 9, it's a quantity of 1.
Yeah. So, I think there's 2 ways that I would like to, or that I think about this, right? Is I would love to take this list, which is your ideas so far, ensure they're captured on here, and let's highlight the ones that are not, and then vice versa, that we have for 26 end of year funds. And then I also want to make sure that whatever is on this list is not contained in 26 budget.
Right. So everything on the right list, capital improvement plan, if it's in the EOY,
Yep.
then it is on that list on the left, because we put all that stuff on that list on the
Okay.
left, because that's the point.
Yep.
Right, that's
No,
the starting point.
I
Is
agree.
to take that type of stuff. But I think that's a good cross-reference the other way now. Like, for example, I know the parking lot is on the list. Parking lot, where we're looking at end of the year stuff this year, obviously is on the list on the right, it's a major problem. Additional repeaters, I'm assuming that is not on the capital improvement list, cause that's an add-on now versus to what we have.
Right.
Replacement of fire drop curtain in the kitchen, that'd be interesting if it's on that list, but we can go cross-reference the other
Yeah.
way.
So I don't know if people wanna do that here. Do we want to do this offline and come back to the next meeting with that? And go through, cause at that point, I think more things are gonna be added to the list.
Possibly more quotes too, I mean, that's what
And
we're
more
looking
quotes.
Seem like public televised meeting kind of work.
Not that we're keeping it secret, but that's gonna be some boring footage.
I think and there's probably a lot to go through, so it just makes sense, I think, to do it offline when you have the time.
Right.
Go through it and then come back and discuss.
Everybody come back with their priorities and what,
The school board itself, though, has its priorities. Should we look at those as well, because they've publicly discussed it?
Yeah, but I think
it's
they're
also our
also
position though
looking,
to make recommendations to them, like, well, you
I mean, this is the type
think
of
this
work.
is important, we think this is important.
Right, like, we asked about what's the point of this committee once GMS is, like, once that's in the rear view, like, this is part of it, right? Like, making sure we examine what we're doing in terms, because not every end of the year expense is gonna be facilities related, but the vast majority of them are gonna be facilities related. So as we continue to, like, look at how we're operating and we're managing our finances and trying to do it in a productive way, like, I think it would be great if an upcoming meeting before June, when the board tackles this, the FIC looks at that list and puts,
Yeah.
like, this would be what we would prioritize. The board's under no obligation to accept that, but I'm sure they would appreciate the feedback. I mean,
No,
you
I
two
think
board
it'd be
members
good,
here.
cause already I'm looking at control joints and windows, how can you associate that with impact fees? I don't know. And then other questions like what's going on with the south entrance
Oh,
for
yeah, some of
CHS?
those are kind of like
Wishful
wishes.
thinking.
Like, could we do it with an impact fee, right?
Ah, there's things
Um,
you probably can do, like if you're doing auditorium expansion services maybe, but I don't see how a control joint and a window can be.
We're opening more.
It's a service, opening the window.
So, yeah, I mean, I
Like,
guess, what,
Some of
what's,
it's a reach.
The air is different after all these people have produced.
well, post-COVID, they have changed the air requirements, the air
The fresh
cycling.
air, yep.
But that doesn't have to do with population loads, it more has to do with changes in requirements.
I can't remember the conversation about that specifically. We talked about it, not here, about the impact fee.
I just think it's
Can't
amusing, I'm like,
connect to. There's a reason we left that there, and I think it may have been,
Did you convert a room into a classroom, maybe?
I don't know, but it was stemmed from, I'd have to go back and look at notes.
I
from
would love
a-
the justification, cause that amuses me right now.
Yeah, we had a conversation at, what's the town one, where we, it's capital improvement, right?
Yeah.
That's the town one, where we talk about impact fees and what you
Mhm.
can and not do it. And I think we were like really trying to like
Come up with a way.
come up with a way to attach it.
There are other ones in there that are easier sells.
But there's a weird thing with the accounts, not weird. The impact fees, right, there's some that are building specific right now.
Right.
And then moving forward, they'll be district specific.
Right.
But like the ones, cause that's all CHS, cause we have like, we're sitting on a good chunk for CHS.
But like expanding the stuff in the auditorium should be an easy sell. We use it more for
I mean,
community
maybe that's the
events.
way to approach it.
There's other things that you could, I just think that there are easier sells on
It's a
this.
very, very tight law on that.
Yeah.
But if you're expanding access and usage because the community's gotten larger and the auditorium's used more and it needs to be more accessible, I'm sure we could spin a story. Control joints, that's gonna be more of a challenge.
Just remember, if it's not used, the developers get it back in the end. So
Well,
Yeah, so
again,
we're
I'm
trying
all
to
about
use it.
tripling impact fees, so I think we should do,
it'd be a
Alright.
good time.
well, it's
But
a
this
little
is,
late.
that's a good example, like,
Right side.
this conversation, the auditorium and impact fees now it's got me thinking like, maybe that's a better way to approach that, right? Like, and then we can.
Like, I'm sure we can find a way to spend it, I just
Yeah.
wanna, I'd go with the ones that are easier to argue. Although I would be very interested in the conversation related to control joints and impact fees.
I can't remember why we put it there.
If
There
it
was
comes
some-
to you, I would be,
Yeah.
I would love to hear the story.
Alright, So the action I have is
Even
we can start
district
going
fee.
through this. I would say that the FIC should be prepared to have a recommendation to the school board by the May meeting. So then that way, because the school board will approach this in June. So then that way, we'll have April, May to kind of look at this and go over it at least twice to come up with that recommendation list.
No, that's good. I appreciate the transparency on this one, because a lot of times we see it and like, wow, where'd that come from? How did the decision get made? So I appreciate that, and hopefully the budget committee will see a draft copy as
Do
well.
you want us to all send you our top 6 choices, see where there's overlap, or how, do you want us to rank them?
I would say just save it and bring it to the next meeting, and then we can kind of discuss and go from there. I guess my recommendation is let's bounce it back and forth between the two lists to make sure that they're one for one and accurate. So it sounds like one way they are and one way they're not. Let's make sure it's not being covered in FY 27 budget because of the new operating budget. Since it was on here, it was in the budget that was just approved, et cetera, et cetera. And then we can go through and figure out where our priorities lie from, over the next couple meetings. Now, I will say that I sent hard copies. The latest copies are always going to be the links. So I think, can I share the link that Julie had in the last school board meeting for the end of year encumbrances?
See why not?
Okay, so I will share the links to the latest copy, cause I'm assuming that's the document that will stay up to date.
Could there be a column maybe added for like rationale? Like I see entry intercom system. Well, we have one. So what are we doing? Is it like outdated? Is it broken? Is there a
There
new
was.
system?
I think if you expand
Is
it,
there-
it may not have a
Safety
ton of
scene.
detail.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Hard to get it all on one screen.
Yeah.
No, because it doesn't all say why. It just says where it stands. Reach out to merchants for quote. That's not a why.
I mean, some of it's just our notes.
Just
Yeah,
using
so-
categories.
So I'm just saying, like, if I understood like the why behind it, like some of this might be a nice to have versus a we need it, or although maybe the van could be impact fees.
Hey, what?
Maybe the district van could be an
Yeah.
impact fee.
Idea.
Yeah, that's definitely expansion of
Well, that's
services.
expansion of services.
Yeah.
Although we do provide transportation, but it's not.
No, but like if you're
it's not-
shuttling a
it's not required
kid,
It's not
transportation.
durable.
but if you're sending a kid from like middle school to high school for a class and bringing them back,
Yep.
you could use the district-wide van. It's an expansion of services. Just saying.
Is that, would you use that to get kids over to Alvin for those classes?
I have to check. There are certain rules of what you can and cannot do. Like, I think you can do that, your own district, middle school to high school, for a kid taking classes. You might be able to do Alvin. It wouldn't be, it depends on the time of day. We actually have a bus full that goes, in one of the sessions, so we would actually need the bus still for that.
Right.
But there's rules around transporting a student to school. Like, you can't take a van. Say you have a kid who doesn't come to school, you can't take the van and go pick the kid up and drive them to school, right? It
But
can't
once they're on
replace the
grounds-
bus. What's that?
But once they're on the school grounds, you can transport them.
Yeah, so the CTE, where does CTE fall in that? I would just need to check. It's
I
not a
just
bad
don't.
idea.
Yeah, I don't know that you could fit them all though, because our
Well,
I didn't
some,
know
we
either.
have 2 blocks,
Right.
right? And the second year block for the kids who do it the second year is smaller, just because you have
Well,
less
I'm
kids
just-
do it.
I
How
drive by
you
there and I
use
see a
it-
van from Milford over there, so I'm assuming that's how they get their kids there too.
so.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking that you could probably justify that one with a impact fees. Just saying. And then you can start realizing savings sooner than later.
Yeah.
Just a quick question. I noticed on one, it was wood vacuum for a shop.
Yep.
I didn't think we had a wood shop anymore.
We have a wood shop, I
Is
mean,
that for the employees too?
no, it's not really being used as part of my frustration, but,
I didn't think they had
um,
a place.
There's always this big, huge push back to things like the trades.
Yeah, but we have Alvern for that.
so we have a wood shop,
Like,
the thing quoted
But if we're
on
not
here.
using it, then we should
If we
decommission
were to
it.
use that, like, it probably hasn't been used in years, I know it hasn't been used in the 2 years I've been here, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say years, plural, beyond
I think
that.
it was. Wasn't it used with Lonergan? Because I seem to remember us
don't know.
talking about whether or
Maybe.
not to use.
3 or 4 when my daughter
He was
took
one of
wood
the
shop.
principals.
Okay, so it hasn't been used in the 2 years I've been here, but if we were, like, that's original to the building, like, and that's a cost that from a life expectancy standpoint, it might be at its, I'm not saying it actually is,
Or-
but from just life expectancy.
Because otherwise you'd have
probably
a
is.
cost to
It's not
decommission the
out of date.
space.
I mean, that,
Right.
that equipment, again, is the last forever stuff.
Yeah, but if
Yeah,
it,
and
if
that's
You
it-
need a really highly qualified instructor to put there.
I don't even wanna know what that would
No
do to
one.
our insurance. Oh my gosh.
And that's the conversation I have though, because I know it's on that list of
Mhm.
things. So like if we're not using it, we're obviously not gonna spend money on it in that given year, and like that might strike a bigger conversation of like, well, if we're not using it,
Repurpose the
what are
room.
we gonna do? Like, right, so.
So I guess, I actually really like Carrie's suggestion of, instead of just a note, can we add a justification column to this sheet?
Yep.
That's something that I commonly ask for. Why do I need to go secure you funding for this?
And realistically, it just makes your job easier. So when I come at you and say, so why do I need this?
Well, just reading it, some of those notes are actually justifications.
Yep, no, and they very well maybe, but it's,
The current fire drop curtain is stuck in,
And
position and needs replacement.
why is it, if it's stuck in position, can't we just unstick it?
What is it?
Don't know. The fire curtain?
It's stuck in position. Is it stuck up or stuck down?
What's it do?
I don't know.
Where is it?
Oh, it's in the
I assume it's in the
kitchen.
kitchen.
So,
kitchen fire drop curtain.
Don't seem something you wanna replace now.
I don't know people.
yeah, but my question, I already wondered, is it the curtain or the hardware? Like, what do we really need? And maybe it's just a matter of greasing some
That's
gears.
Is it automatic?
It could be over a,
Like,
Yeah,
stove
my,
fryer.
yeah, I was gonna say, my guess is it's over a stove or something.
got
in
too
case
hot.
You get a right,
Well,
you get a
then-
grease fire.
Other things, justification, there's one other thing. Just writing notes to myself.
I was just asking for the justification
Mhm.
column.
That it? Okay.
yep.
But,
Oh, impact fees we were talking about.
Oh,
oh
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, so I've seen them of where like you get a massive grease fire that's out of control.
Oh.
That it's that fire suppression to contain it to over the stove and over the hood to vent.
Well, based on
So
what,
it drops it around it, not
Fire
on
drop
it.
curtains are automated gravity fail-safes or motorized fabric barriers that deploy from the ceiling to seal off areas during a fire.
it could just be rusted.
I've never,
it could
I've
be-
never seen that. Usually have Ansel systems and stuff, you know, fire suppression. and
Our
fire
insurance
retardants.
company hasn't been upset with us about this?
I don't know people, we just started a list like a couple weeks ago.
No, I
Yep.
mean,
We had these things on submarines when I was back in the day.
Yeah.
I think
Because
all
a
you need-
defect fire
Yeah.
in a submarine is bad news.
I believe that. But I mean, can you just get away with like one of the fire blankets I have in my science classroom? Boom, done.
I'm guessing the fire department says no.
Well, they haven't complained in a while, probably.
Can we just blow on it?
That
It
guy's
goes to
just-
show you, we all have things that we can learn. I've never heard of the fire drop curtain.
Yeah.
I've only seen the
It's probably covered in
Ansel
grease.
systems.
Yeah, yeah.
Could be covered in grease.
I
That's
mean,
why I
and,
can't
and
do
I
it.
think in that explanation of like the justification would be like,
And-
what's been done, what's
yeah.
been looked at, and they're like, we've tried to repair it, it's unrepairable, it needs to be replaced.
Or to that note, fire department has given us 2 years to fix it.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I mean, I
Yep.
wouldn't wanna say it's, we looked at it, it's clearly broken, or it's covered in grease and nobody wants to touch it.
And they got a 3-hour fire rating? Says it typically contains flames for up to 3 hours.
It's impressive.
Wow.
But I mean, nowadays too, like I said, I
Why don't we
haven't,
just
one-
build houses with that? You'd never have a house fire ever again.
but I mean, and also, like I said, we have the ones that just pull out of a bag and you could throw down too, but like, would that work? As opposed to, what is it, $12,000?
No, these, the pictures I saw are like, are full, like, it would seal off this room.
Seal off the.
Right,
The
no,
whole thing.
That seems
Not
like,
just
over-
like throwing it on like a pot that's on fire. So it would
That's-
seal the entire room.
Maximum size up to 146 feet by 45 feet tall.
dude, I would hope somebody's like there when it happens, so they could. We shouldn't be leaving stuff unattended, so hopefully that's not what that's for.
Alright, so we have that action. I will send out the links after this meeting later tonight to where they exist. I am assuming no one is going to have edit access.
Sorry, no.
Good.
I barely
Good.
wanna give our people edit.
No, I 100% agree with you. Good. Download it, make your own
That's
copies,
what I do.
and then bring it together. I fight this all the time in my company.
You don't like your templates being destroyed? What?
It's not even my template. They put a comma in a wrong spot, and all of a sudden now it's a 6-figure issue.
Oh no! Oh no.
They put a comma instead of a period, and then it's just, wait, that's not what your quote says.
I tell my kids, congratulations, you just blew up your crew.
Where is my mouse? There it is.
That's way too much
Alright.
fuel.
Going into, so I guess we just went over the action items that we have. Recap is I will reach out to Jason and Joe to talk about the 1-year appointments. And if I get feedback saying that they are not interested, then we will get it out.
I think we need to get it out anyway, right? Even if
Yeah.
they are interested?
Put it out.
Right, like,
Yep.
the positions aren't theirs guaranteed.
Right, they still have to
Correct.
apply
Yeah,
for them.
yeah, yeah, so I think that, okay, so yeah,
I'll put it out Sunday.
We-
Start it Sunday.
you gotta get it out, and,
Friday.
I will put it on, I'll get what's up and put it on his behalf as school board. That we're looking for 3 community members.
So you're gonna post it on the school board?
What?
I think someone posted on WhatsApp, I saw it someplace. On
I
Facebook.
don't think so.
So is it on the school board page too? Cause not everybody's on, there are other pages as well, we can share it
Yeah,
too.
it needs to be on
School
all.
board, there is a school board Facebook page?
Isn't there?
There's a Facebook page for every single school and every
There is a
school board and.
I did not know
Oh,
any
yeah.
of that. Well, I knew about the
You
school
name it, there's a
pages.
Facebook page for it.
Well, the main concern is there are some people who, back in the day, were kicked off of the WhatsApp page, and so they weren't getting those information.
Is it not what's up?
It was not me, by the way. I have,
There is
I
a-
may have been, I may be blocked by some people, but I am not kicked off of the page.
And that is Litchfield, which
So,
only
yeah.
has one person.
But, so I'm just saying, there's some other Litchfield pages I'd like to
Like
make sure we
that.
get it shared to, so if it's posted on the school board page, we can just share it to the other pages as well.
Okay.
I can't share out of Litchfield WhatsApp, because I'm pretty sure it's private.
It's
or something.
private. you
So I
you
can't share
it.
out of that, so I
You
need
can
like an
share it
original
to the
source.
This is why I don't have social media.
I will.
It's a hassle,
So
but.
Tina, the previous member was the one doing it. I think it transitioned when she left the board to somebody else. Cause I have seen posts on her.
I will go search for it and I will,
Congratulations to whoever has
hound-
social media.
hound Andrew to, get me
I don't think
access.
it's a committee.
What?
I don't think it's a committee.
I never said it was a committee.
It's whoever got roped into that position.
Yeah, it's
Congratulations
good.
to just
Whoever
bigger.
gets assigned to
Stuck
it.
with it. Your job is to maintain this, have fun.
I've done worse things for jobs, so. Alright, I will, any other closing remarks, actions?
Nope, other than the budget committee has their meeting, the first meeting of the season this Thursday. So whether it's me or someone else coming back, who knows? We'll see.
Sounds good.
Well, because we have to appoint our committee people, right? Our
yeah.
reps. There may be some people who want to muscle me out. I don't know. I don't know. I'll fight you, Brian.
Carrie, just, I'm gonna go with muscle you out, really?
I don't
Very
know.
coveted position.
Well, there are some people who like this and feel that I'm too negative. So,
Awesome. Alright, with that, I'll entertain a motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second, all those in favor?
I'm messing with something.
I can't vote.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
1, 2, 3, no, we had 2 other voters.
Oh, yeah.
I can't vote, so.
Do you guys wanna leave?
Can you pull it up?
Hey, vote.
Do you
Did
guys wanna
vote?
leave?
Did you vote officially?
Yes.
Okay. Passes
He doesn't get a
5-0.
vote, only Rich does.
All right. Oh, that's right, because he's here. Let somebody vote.
Thank you, everybody, have a good night.
Although technically, I don't think Ray's a vote.
Ray does
He
not.
does not have a vote.
Right,
One school
well,
board member
Come
does.
over to your building the last 2 days to ask you this. I forgot.
well, as